You're tuned in to The Thinking Class with Lawrence D. Adams. Let's go. Salute everyone. This is Lawrence D. Adams. We are live today. I have a special guest with me. Class, want to keep going. We have a special guest today. I'm going to bring him up in a moment. I want to make sure we get the likes up, get the likes up in the chat room. Make sure you like this video. This is going to be controversial. This is going to touch on some things that you may not be ready to hear. You may not be ready to hear. Don't inbox me. Don't call my mama. Don't call my sister. Don't try to say, well, what is he saying? Because it's going to be said today. So I've been waiting for this. I've been studying this. What's going on, Tony? What's going on, Apple Weasel? What's Squeeze? What's going on, everyone? This is going to be controversial. And you know what? I'm ready for it. So without further ado, let me bring my friend I've been knowing since elementary school up. And that is PimpGod Warren B. or Warren Bowen. Been knowing him for years. Shout out to him. Get ready. We about to drop some real game for you today. So let's get it going. Make sure you get the likes up. Without further ado, here is my man, PimpGod.
Sir, okay. All right. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you good. Hear you good. Hear you good. Hear you good. Good. Right. Good to see you, brother.
Yeah, you too, bro. Absolutely. Absolutely. I wanted to start this out by saying, we want to think and celebrate the life of Frankie Beverly. I wanted to start out with giving props to Frankie Beverly for his life and all his work. And I think that's the proper way to start out any, meeting of the minds is that you recognize and send off your ancestors properly.
Wow, man. You and I had on something else different, man. I had on a complete different outfit.
Oh, yeah?
And I said, you know what? I thought about it. They said, everybody wear white today for Frankie Beverly. I said, let me switch, put him on all white today and honor him. And so I wanted to make sure I did the same thing by honoring him by putting on all white in this. What's going
Yeah.
on, James? Good to see you. Yes, the Midwest is in the play. So let me preface this. So a lot of people don't know. If you have been watching us, we did a lot of installments, for many years. I've been knowing him since elementary school, and we sort of pretty much traced it back. Maybe I think to maybe third or fifth grade, between third, fourth, fifth grade. We traced it back, and then we intertwined between churches. We intertwined. I'm good friends with his cousins. Didn't know it until we began to all talk. And some of the same experiences that we had is just coincide. And like I was sharing him behind the scenes about a couple of weeks ago, just remember him seeing him down in Tower City in Cleveland. Anybody know where that is? And he had this long trench coat on, black trench coat on. He was flowing through Tower City. So he's always been a thinker. And something that I remember we talked about PimpGod when we were in elementary school. He was quiet into himself.
Yeah.
And he was already in the mode of being a Sigma male back then. It wasn't something that he just came about. Oh, I'm gonna be a Sigma man. No, he was already like that elementary school. And I'm saying that because I was an eyewitness. I knew him. And so I just want to make sure I celebrate people who came from where we came from, which is Cleveland, Ohio, which is not the easiest place to live at. No. But we made it out. So I just want to make sure I celebrate you and honor you when we talk about today. So today we're talking about the black man navigating being the black woman's last choice.
Yeah.
Let me drink some water on that.
Yeah.
It's in glass. You know how to.
Absolutely, yes.
It's in glass. I hope you're ready for this. So this is a lot to digest. So I definitely know he has notes. I have some things I'm going to interject too for us historically, why this is in place, because we need to definitely talk about it. Well, let's go. The floor is yours. Let's begin.
Okay. I want to begin this with a proper understanding of the concept of crabs in a barrel. Because a lot of us have a certain view of that. And I want to bring a different angle. Okay. People often think of crabs in the barrel in terms of, okay, a crab is escaping the barrel or the bucket, and then other crabs are grabbing that crab to bring him back into and so they say crabs in the barrel. I knew I was missing something. My rollie ain't on. My bad. But the gist of it is, when the crab is grabbing a crab that's getting out, it's because they want to get out. So evidently, if you figured out a way out, right, then if I grab onto you, I might be able to get out. Right? A lot of times it's thought of in terms of, oh no, where are you going? We all down in here, so we all gonna be down in here, right? In this understanding, we need to understand something about this concept with respect to our women. She does not want to share freedom with us. So if you potentially get out of the barrel, she's not pulling you back down to stay down with her. She feels that freedom is something that only she should enjoy, not you. And that's the thing. Now, look back over your relationships and see if that makes any sense, right? Especially when you begin to evolve and grow, right? When you begin to elevate in your consciousness, you can feel and see the tactics and the energy and the thoughts of those who want to keep you down, but they want to keep you down because they're the ones that feel that freedom, right, is something that is for them to enjoy. When a black man puts a fist up, right, Black Power movement, right, the Black Panthers, Malcolm X, that whole thing of the marches with Martin Luther King, When we put our fist up, that fist represents everybody. It represents us and our women. What we never realize is that the reason that Black women assisted white women to steal jobs from us, when Eisenhower was trying to give jobs to us, to even the playing field between the white man and the Black man, she helped her steal jobs from us. So she walked away with 87% of the jobs and left 13% for Black women. Why did she do that? Because, oh no, you didn't think that you were going to escape this bucket and I'm still in here, where freedom actually belongs to me, not to you. So you need to understand the spirit and the essence of your dynamic with Black women. The crabs in the barrel means that you are supposed to be in the barrel and that freedom belongs to her. So what's your thoughts on that?
So that's very deep, because so a couple of things come to mind when you say that. I think about the situation happened recently, the last voting cycle with Ice Cube, and he was on a particular show, and he, shout out to you, thank you for the cash, thank you for the super chat right there. So he was talking to a group of ladies on a panel. I'm not forget the name of the group, and he had a platinum plan.
Or something, right?
Yeah, he had the platinum plan, and with the platinum plan, he was laying out policies that he wanted for Black people. They listened to him, and what they said was, where is the plan for Black women? So it was already in their minds that we are not the same. So what Ice Cube said was this. He said, what are you guys talking about? This plan is for all Black people that encompass Black women. So that gave an inkling, or not even an inkling, it revealed the plan, or revealed the mindset of some Black women, that we are separate, not only separate, but better than you Black men. How dare you come up with a plan and not include us, or not separate us, that we are different from you. And when we look a little bit further, we see in history, we can, you know, I've been all this, when you gave the topic, I went to studying. When we look in history, this is nothing new.
No, it's not new.
Nothing new.
Nothing new. No, it's not new. So we need to realize that somebody important in the scripture said, any city or house divided shall not stand. What we are now starting to catch up to is the fact that our house has been divided. And so we have been trying to make efforts. A lot of Black men are so confused when they do all of the sacrificial things that they do for family, friends, what have you, and then they're abandoned as if none of that stuff happened. And it's because she deserves freedom. And she doesn't see that as something that she wants to share with you. What is this saying? And this is going to be a point we're going to keep coming back to. It's time for you to go for self. It's time for you to save yourself, Black man. That's a point we're going to keep coming back to, right? Yeah.
So let me say, because I know I got some Black women listening. I want you to listen objectively. I want you to listen and hear the whole matter completely, because a lot of times it's hard for anyone to look in the mirror and see themselves. And also it's hard when I just seen something today that irritated me, when Black men are used to being mommy by their women. But I know we'll talk on that.
That's true. That's true. Definitely. Times when a Black man is breaking something down, and then when you say something that triggers her, right? Her mommy program. It's a program. It is a downloaded program because God didn't put that in you to disrespect me. So when that program hits her, right, she feels the need to wag that finger and put you back in check or correct something that you're saying. And a lot of our women are not used to hearing masculine, confident, heterosexual, right, leaders speaking, right? And so that's something that we need to think about, okay? Father Zaddy, every waking moment, right, of most of our women, right, is spent in the spirit of Sojourner Truth. Sojourner Truth was not asking a Black man to validate her. She was asking Zaddy to validate her. Ain't I a woman? I pick just as much cotton as he picks, you know, this, that, and the third, whatever the case may be, because freedom, they believe, belongs to them. And if any breadcrumbs of freedom trickle down, it's got to come through her hands first. Just like wealth or money. They want it to trickle down through her hands, and then we get whatever's left over crumbs on the table. And that's the way that it's set up. You know, you see, you know, when you think about the Black man getting the right to vote, you know what I'm saying? There's a commonality that she shares with the white woman. It's a, oh no, you didn't type spirit when it comes to the Black man, especially if he might get something before vote either one of them. You see what I'm saying? Something that he already fought for. Excuse my expression, nigga. Let me calm it back down. Something that he already fought for. My last name is Bowens, okay? You got all these new people coming in, right? And they already come in with a certain mindset with respect to the native, right? Because we're the true natives. Everybody else is actually an immigrant, including the white man, right? We didn't need a slave ship to come here, right? Just like we didn't need a slave ship to circumnavigate the globe. So why would we need a slave ship to come here? How do you think the pyramids got in Mexico? Wasn't no Mexican, right? And it wasn't the Mayans or the Aztecs that built that. That was the Olmecs. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, but she's seeking acceptance and acknowledgement from him, not from you, right? And so that goes into her humanity, validation for her humanity, her womanness, anything other than a nigga, which is what everybody else collectively agrees that the Black man is in this society. And so going back to my first analogy, the crabs in the barrel is to keep, why do our women invest mostly in their daughters and not their sons?
Whoa. The illiterate rate the illiterate rate with Black boys in America is astonishing. And when you think about it, you want there's a historical side to it. I know we're going to talk about it. I'm going to say it a little bit here. It's that the historical side of it is this. You don't want to invest in the Black boy because the threat that you think that he's not going to take care of you. One, two, you've been conditioned through slavery that I must what? Be in control, because that's what the slave master said I need to be in this culture that they created. So to invest in the boy, he's only there for what? Physical labor, or now we have emotional labor. He's not worthy of anything else. So when you go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead. Right.
And that
sexual labor.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, so he has no intrinsic value of being anything but physical labor, mental labor, emotional labor, and physical labor. And so
Right.
when you sexual labor, when you get that
Right.
out of there, he is only a tool. I
A
heard something
tool.
I said yesterday, and I had to listen to it again. He said something that was quite interesting. He said, "We're just the house Negroes and sheep on her plantation," in so many words.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
said, "Oh my God." So
Yeah.
we're complaining about, I'm not saying we're complaining, we're talking about dialoguing and saying, hey,
Yeah.
I'm not playing the part anymore. I'm walking away.
No. Yes. Absolutely. And that's why this is, first of all, let me say something to anybody in their feelings, men too. This is not red pill talk. You see this black shirt I got on? You see this black Louis Vuitton hat I got on? This is black pill talk. And there's a difference between red pill and black pill. Red pill is coming to the realization of something, but you feel some kind of way about it. It's like, damn, that's fucked up. Man, that shit hurt, man. Fuck them. Whatever, whatever. Black pill is something else. Black pill is seeing the reality for what it is and accepting it without any emotional attachment to it. That's a sheep, that's a frog, and that's a snake. I don't feel anything about that. It just is what it is. Black pill knowledge is not what this is. Red pill knowledge is not what this is. Where you hear men complaining about things. No, 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 no. We're breaking these things down so that we know what to do next. Not just talk about it with some emotion. It's about understanding, right? Seeing the terrain for what it is, right? And then making your moves accordingly. But accepting it without an emotional attachment. So that's important that we understand this is black pill talk, right? So part of Sojourner's desire to prove to them, right, that she's in lockstep with them, and this is the negative part of it, is to show them that she too can participate in the debauchery, right, that they've always been involved in. So somebody sent Dr. Scott a video. I'm just going to say it, right? Of a black woman getting fucked really good by a dog. I mean, really good. And it was a white man that was recording. This is not a one of one. I didn't say it was all. But when you think about the slut walks, when you think about this push for freedom to destroy your womb and destroy your ability to bond to a man. Because once a woman's womb is damaged, she can't bond to a man. This is also partly, in addition to how she sees us, part of the other reason she can't bond to us is because her womb is damaged. So, but this is being promoted. Debauchery equals freedom. There's something that this preacher that I know used to say this all the time before I moved here. He used to say this all the time. He said, the devil never shows you the bitter end of something that he gives you up front. Right. He never shows you the price tag attached to it. There's a price tag attached to being in lockstep with soulless people. Right? And that price tag is your soul. So more and more you're starting to see, okay, there is a God in the Bible that I don't think I've ever heard a preachers preach on before. It's the god Molech. Okay, Larry, you know who it is? You know what that is?
Go ahead.
Oh, yes. The god Molech requires the sacrifice of your children.
Mm-hmm.
Abortion clinic, anyone?
Firstborn.
You see? So the gist of it is, who are you in bed with? Right? In the name of freedom. Because my work, see all this writing right here, is for men. It'd be nice if you come along, but here's where I'm walking. Well, Mary said, I'm walking already.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care if you walk with me or not. I'm walking. It'd be nice to have you if you're going to support, right? And if you know how to submit, that's an evil word. It's weird how what was always natural to us in alignment with universal law, principle, right? Even love are now negative or bad words. And everything that's debaucherous now is celebrated and everybody agrees with it. It's weird how that flipped. So so there's bestiality, the pimping out of her kids, right? The looking away from the molestation of her sons, which I believe happens more than the girls. Because who gonna say shit, to the, I mean, I know dudes that told me at 7 they were being molested by a teenage Black woman that was their babysitter. You see what I'm saying? And that's why Antoine Fisher made that poem. He said, "Who will cry for the little boy?" You know what I'm saying? Especially when there's no priority for you as a male in your community.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, we need to, think about that and consider it. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I want to bring this comment right here because I think it's quite interesting and in line with what we're talking about. So I lived overseas, mostly in Asian countries, and what I noticed was the focus was more on the boys than the girls, because what I was is the boys would build a nation and bring honor to the family, and that's quite interesting. That other culture. So I want to make sure we emphasize this, that the culture that we were talking about for when it coming from the slave culture was never
Yes.
emphasizing on family. It was
No.
never emphasized on a family structure where the man is the head of the household. Now we see in
Yes.
this Asian country, they honor the what? They honor the boys because they realize they built the nations. And so when you
Right.
understand the historical side of this, that it was important that you put the woman ahead of the man, it was destroy the family structure. And two, which is very important, because I want you to
Yeah.
really get this, it is to destroy the esteem of men so they never rise up and take over again. So I need to
Right.
keep you below. And so the best way to keep you below is to put a woman over you. Now, I know
Yes.
this is tough. Go back and don't read the history you learned when we were in school. Go do your own private research yourself, and you will see the common thread from 1681 to now, how the family structure have been destroyed, and the person on the hit list is not the Black woman. The person on the hit list is actually a Black man.
Right. Yes. And so that's she has in a lot of ways been turned into his guard dog. Something to
Yeah.
think about. If the eyes are the windows to the soul, right? What do her eyes say to you? Because the title of your book is The Hidden Crown, right? LDA?
Yep. Secret. Yep. Yep.
The secret crown, or something.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
secret invisible crown. Mhm.
I never leave home without mine. And when I walk into a room, everybody in there can feel it. What's most interesting to me is the reaction, or should I say, the reaction is the best word for it, not response. The reaction of a lot of Black women to that crown. Now, I can break down in multiple lectures and things what that crown is all about. And we can approach it from a whole bunch of different angles, right? Number one, what we always call nappy, right? Those so-called naps represent, right, completion. That nine ether hair is the same hair that Yeshua had. We insist on calling him Jesus, but that wasn't his name. Sorry, but it's not. His name was Yeshua. He was Hebrew. A lot of people don't want to deal with that, but we'll leave that alone. That's maybe another kind of conversation. But the gist of it is, if the eyes are the windows to the soul, what do her eyes tell you? A lot of sisters take umbrage, right, at the presence of an original man, a more American, who knows who he is. I come in with my crown. Let me give you some game. Every day before I leave out, I look in the mirror and I imagine that my crown is laying there, and I pick it up and I look myself and I fit it on my head and I cock it. You know, I gotta cock it, you know what I'm saying? You know how you break your hat, you dig?
Break it in.
Cock it. Break it in. I cock it before I leave. This is a practice that all Black men should do. Before you leave the house, put your crown on. And this is important too, because the Bible talks about what? Putting on the whole armor of God.
In Ephesians.
Right? So what is referred to as the helmet of salvation. Your salvation is going to come from your kingdom. Right? So crown it. And that's what I do in the mornings when I look in the mirror and I imagine it. Now, it's not difficult for me to do because I actually own one. I paid for a crown. I actually got one. And it came from overseas. It took a while to get here because they sent it was actually made specific for my head. But yes, we need to get into the spirit of our kingship and our kinghood. We put on your armor, put on your consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Before you leave every day, and pay attention to how it's received. Because as you move through people, you're going to, their spirit, their energy is going to let you know how they receive you and how they see. Because see, here's the thing. A lot of times what you'll find is an adverse reaction to you being seen as an imposter. I'm coming into space like a god. You can't tell me otherwise. And the women here, lean in. My mother can't tell me otherwise. When I was a boy, I was in the car with my mother. And I don't know what I said. I don't remember. We was headed towards home on North Green Road. I'll never forget even where we was at on the street when I said it. and we was heading up the street and making that curve onto North Green off of Cliffview. And I said something to my mother that made her look at me crazy. And I don't remember what I said because I was young. But whatever I said, I put Jesus, as you call it, and my name in the same sentence. Where was that coming from? And my mother looked at me and she said, boy, don't compare yourself to Jesus. I don't even know what I said. I don't even remember, but I'm saying there's an adverse effect to you coming into the true knowledge of yourself. Because the last time I checked, somebody in the Bible, usually it's in red, said that we would do greater things than him. He not only said, I and my Father are one, but he also said, you and the Father are one. So why I gotta, I'm gonna just leave, I ain't gonna even get into the religious aspect, but if the eyes are the windows to the soul, my question is, what do her eyes say to you? What is her natural reaction to you? You know what I'm saying? When you're in the proper consciousness. Because in a lot of relationships, the dude that's easier to deal with for Black women is somebody that fits the stereotype. Your Pookies, your Ray Rays, your low-level dudes. You see what I'm saying? They would know how to be with a God. Okay? When I have a problem, you might go to the Bible, and I'm not knocking the Bible, right? But what I do is I go to the closet. I go to the closet, and I know how to hear from a living God and seek knowledge, right? Because it says my sheep know my voice. You see what I'm saying? So but it matters to a lot of our women, the color of the Savior, right? And I can prove it. This kind of shocked me because my mother's high yellow. My mother's high yellow. She's like damn near white. But when my first son was born, as conscious as I am, and I named him Osiris.
Imagine
Don't
that.
tell no Christians that, wow, Osiris?
Right.
And my second son, his name is Sirius, which is after the star Sirius. Now in Cleveland, they call me Warren B. That's what I was known on the street, Warren B. And I was popular. But so when you say Sirius B, you're saying Sirius B. So what's some whole higher consciousness, you know what I'm saying, popping off there. But a lot of our women are actually more prone to colorism than the Black male is. Because I was shocked when my mother said this. My mother said, when my son was born, she said, yes, she said, he's handsome. And I said, okay. You know, I'm thinking, we think logic, 10 fingers, 10 toes. Okay, shit. Boom, right?
Right.
You know, can he speak? Can he see? Can he hear? You know, my mother said, yes, he's handsome. And then she said, and he's light. I was shocked because she never said nothing about color before. But I was shocked. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little shocked when she said that. And he's light. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I didn't say anything, but I just noticed it. I was like, light. But this is also why our leadership in her consciousness is a difficult pill for her to swallow. Because of the colorism that lingers in her consciousness. Yeshua was darker than me, and he had 9 ether hair. And the Bible says his feet were like brass, as if they had burned past tense in a furnace, not burning, burn. So, but if in your consciousness is a white Christ, right? The law of the bluest eye, it's going to be difficult for them to submit to you. Because submit means trust. Not a footstool, not a doormat, none of that kind of stuff, right? And the honest truth about the Black man in America in particular, and probably the Black man in general, because of the way that we're cultivated, we're most likely, right, to care about your cramps during your period, to consult the herbalist about some issue that you had or something else. And inside of a man is an archetype, and then I'm gonna keep moving, called the healer archetype. Okay, we are more likely than any other race of man to tend to the nuances and needs of our women. I watch other cultures, because I lived out in Tyson. Okay, I lived out there for 4.5 years, and it's nothing but Arabs, Indians, Asians, couple Africans peppered in, but not a lot of more Americans though. So they was already watching us anyway, because we fly, you know what I'm saying, and we in this luxury condo. When we moved in, it was only 60% occupied. Wow. It was new. It had only been open for 6 months. First got in. So, but one of the things I've noticed is Arab man and woman pull into the parking lot. Dude just gets out of the car and starts walking. Okay, his wife, his kids, is just he ain't even looking back. He just starts. I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Because it's in my nature to protect within my circumference. You know what I'm saying? But
so let me tap in on that, because I think that's a good point. So as we see, a lot of Black men, a lot of African, a lot of whatever you want to call us now, African and black men have been enculturated through the system of the system in America to actually to be the caretakers for their wives, their mothers, their aunts, and everyone else. One person that neglect is they neglect themselves. So that's another thing to think about. So when we go to travel other countries, they are amazed at us because of the attentiveness that we have and the healer that we are when we come to them. So when I talk to someone that's in Brazil or Colombia, or I talk to a guy that has been overseas, the women understand. They understand intrinsically that men are first. And so when American man comes over, they're enamored by us because we care. And what happens is in America, we don't want to say this, but it's the truth. Our being caring for the Black woman or women in general in this culture has been taken advantage of and not appreciated. And so what we all know, where you are not appreciated, you need to go. And what happens is we're talking about Black men navigating being with Black women last choice. Black men have become, whether we want to admit it or not, and I hear someone saying in this ear, well, this seems divisive what you're saying, or you're trying to divide Black men and women. Baby girl, baby boy, whether you like it or not, the division has already been there. The thing of it is, like what I said, you've been sleeping with the enemy and not knowing at the end of the day whose best interest that she has for you. And so a lot of men are deciding to say, you know what? I'm going to do something that's going to benefit me and for my well-being and for my desire to have a family that follows my lead. This whole thing with partnership, I went to school with talking about, a man is looking, should be looking for a partner. I said, no, he's looking for a wife. The old advent of partner came in early 90s, or early 80s, late 80s, early 90s to emphasize what? A relationship between two homosexual individuals. When it comes to relationship between a man and a woman, it was a husband and a wife. And that entails what? Duties. Versus
Roles.
partnership is complete roles. And what happens is we're trying to get away from that. And you know what? I think a lot of Black men are saying, you know what? You don't want to do that. We're going to walk away and we're going to choose someone who wants to get down with our program. I know we're going to talk about it, but I gotta emphasize this. I was wrestling for this past couple of weeks thinking about this topic, and it bothered me because I had to look at the structure of where I was cultivated in, and I'm not condoning what I'm about to say. I'm not condoning that lifestyle that I'm about to present, but I am saying there's the validity of what is there. The role of the pimp, whether people like it or not, is flipping the dynamic of the system on his head and putting him back in his proper place. And so I wrestle with that.
Yes, that's the real reason that the white man hates pimp so much. Mm-hmm. How the hell was he successful at capturing certain women's minds back when we thought we had it on lock? How was he able to do that? That's our bitch. And he got it. You see what I'm saying? That's the real issue. Because the biggest trick in the world is your zaddy.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We got to repeat that because I know this is gonna be a hard pill to swallow. He said the biggest trick is your zaddy.
Your zaddy. Yeah.
He's willing to do anything to keep you and to please you. I'm not going to go political, but we'll leave it there. I'll just say that was my statement on political.
Yes, yes, yes. See, because if you have privilege and I don't, you can trick more than I do. Because you can't trick unless you got it. Your zaddy's the biggest trick in the world. This trick ass. But I digress.
And let me add this. Because he's the biggest trick, the mind of some women, Black women, is this: that you will respect him and you will have a disdain from him because he doesn't stand up and speak to the innermost part of you, that polarity of masculine and feminine. And you will smile on TV and on internet, but at the reality of it is there is something bothering you on the inside because you know this ain't right. This has nothing. Let me make sure I emphasize this. This transcends this transcends color. This is all the culture that we have been groomed in. I want to make sure. Because a lot of people go, oh man, you talk about Black. Yeah, we're going to talk about Black women, Black men, but it's a culture because it's Black people everywhere. It's the culture here. This system is what designed that you will not succeed. Let somebody ask if you have a cash app. You have a cash app.
Go to $ PimpGod and the number 1.
Let's put that in there.
And then PIMP, all caps, GOD, and then put the number 1 right next to it. Just the number 1.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's my cash. Okay. Pop up.
Yep. So that's so I want to make sure we clear on what we're saying. Black men navigating when you're the last choice. And who I mean reality. We remember we went to lunch in elementary school. The worst thing you want to do is be the last person getting your slice of pizza.
Yes.
Why would I want to be the last person to get the slice of pizza? I got to hurry up and eat it, and I can't digest it, and it's time to go to recess. I can't enjoy myself. Why do we, as Black men, need to settle for the last choice when we should be the number 1 choice?
Be the number 1 choice. Absolutely.
Anyway,
okay. So I was watching this zombie movie, and it was interesting because it was all this chaos going on. Everybody ripping and running. All these people are being killed and turned to these zombies, right? So one of the characters goes back to his house, probably for some supplies. And he creeps in because you got to keep it quiet. And he creeps into his house and he gets some supplies, probably like some food, maybe some armament. You know what I'm saying? He gets some stuff and then he heads back out. And who does he meet on the lawn, the front lawn? His wife. But it's not his wife anymore. And you can see her contorted nature now. But what she tried to do, listen, men, was play on his imagination. His imagination of what they used to be. But that's not his woman anymore. She still looks the same. Her voice still sounds the same. And she tried to play on his human sentiment, which she no longer has. And she actually talked to him like his wife. And she said, hey, baby, I love you, this and that, and this and whatever. And she started coming towards him. And he was kind of sedated by her because he loves her. And I think when she got close enough, he shot her. And so my point is, that's not your woman anymore. There's another spirit that has inhabited that body, that energy. And it's easy for us to get sucked in to what we are imagining. I said at the beginning of this conversation, this is a black pill conversation. It's not a red pill. Accept the reality. This is a bottle of water. I don't feel anything about it. It's just water. I accept it. I don't have any emotional attachment to what it is. I just accept it for what it is. Seeing our women in general for what they are, without an emotional attachment, that's black pill. What I teach men is stop imagining women and start observing them. Make your decisions based upon observation. Do you see that contorted image? Hey, baby, I love you. No, it's us. Remember when the first day at lunch? That's not your girl anymore, right? In general. Stop imagining, because they play on imagination. But they can't fool a man that is rooted in observation, seeing things for what it is. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, one thing, your camera's a little blurry, so I don't know if you wanted to adjust it or something like that, or your connection. That's the only thing I'm seeing right now, because I can see it. It's a little blurry, and I want to make sure that you come across, but I do have some thoughts on that.
Okay.
I'm not sure if something came through or something like that. So if you guys are enjoying this, let me know in the chat room. Put a number 1 as
I don't know exactly what, but
okay. Yeah, but so put in 1 in the chat room. You guys are enjoying this, or you're getting something from this, or if you are opposed to this, put a 1 in the chat. If you're opposed to it, okay, put a 1 in the chat room too, because this is good. Because I don't expect everybody to agree or to like what we're talking about. I never said that. Put a 1 in the chat room, because this is going to cause you to really lick. So you said, you gave it a good example of the lady was this man had this image of his wife that came to him, but she was already distorted because she was already a zombie. And what he had to do, he had to make a quick decision, think, not with his lower nature, but with his higher nature. This woman is what? Not who she is. And you said something that was very powerful, that a lot of men need to observe first before
Right.
they make a decision. And a lot of times, this is something that I talked about on something I have out there, is you got to properly vet the woman. A lot of guys are vetting based on the outward exterior of the woman, but they have not vetted the canvas of her mind.
Right.
Where is her mind? And what you'll find out is, are you just, we could have easily called this, are you sleeping with the enemy?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, a lot of men need to wake up. And this is a wake up call. This is an indictment towards men first. Let me say that
Yeah.
first. This is an indictment towards men. You need to choose better who you're dealing with and know who you're dealing with.
Right.
Because if you look,
Observe.
yeah, you got to observe. If you're just looking at the curves and she got the condone, she looking like this, she knows. And be this the second thing, because I got to get some game too. Don't be fooled just by her actions if it's not consistent.
Exactly. That's why we say, when we say observe, the best time to really start observing your new boo, especially when you get newly booed up, the best time to observe your new boo is after the 3rd month of being with. Not the initial, because that's a mask. After the 3rd month, then really start paying attention, because a lot of times that's when pieces of her mask start to chip off, to fall away. Okay. Father Zaddy, the relationship between many Black women and Father Zaddy is that of a loyal dog and its master.
Woo!
And I'm just saying. So this still goes back to the first point that I made. Crabs in a barrel is not to keep you down there with her, but rather she feels like she's the one that deserves to be free. And you're the one that deserves to be there. And so child support, divorce, no fault divorce. Oh, I fell out of love, cheating, all this kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? Men need to learn and master observation. And a lot of times that starts with going in her past and seeing what cultivated her, right? And also learning who the first 3 men is or were that she ever had sex with. Because if the energy of those first 3 dudes don't match your energy, because a lot of times they marry the good guy, but they get ran through by the Pookies and Ray Rays, right? But when they finally settle down, their womb won't allow them to. And that's why 80% of divorces are filed by women, because eventually it's her womb that's making the choice and her cultivation. Because her womb is attracted to dirty Dick Rotten. It's not attracted to a mature, developed, consistent, boring provider, protector. You see what I'm saying? And so you do need to do research on the first 3 men that she ever had sex with. Because if your energy doesn't match their mindset when they entered her, see, because once the first 3 dudes enter her, their energy stays there. And that becomes what's known as an imprint. And a lot of our women don't stay with us the distance because they are already negatively imprinted. So her mind married you, but her womb and her heart didn't.
Right. And that's serious because you said something so you talk about the womb. I've been in a vein of study her culture or how she was cultivated.
Yes.
Was never designed for you to be the leader of her life. It was always
No.
her to run your life.
Yes.
If you observe her, Warren, Pimp God said something powerful. What is her past?
Yes.
What is how did her mother treat her or teach her? Did her mother teach her how to be with a man? Uh-oh, now I'm gonna flip it again because I know people ain't gonna like this. Was her father simping for his daughter by getting everything and not saying, hey, this ain't how it's supposed to be. This is not how a man really deals. I gotta call your fathers out too. You give everything to a woman, to your daughter, but now the guy has to marry her. He's got to compete with something that you've been doing for 30 plus years. And guess what? He'll never be able to compete, but also too, she's been culturated culturated, that's the word, to be what? Not a wife, but a child that needs to be taken care of.
Yes, a spoiled child, a brat.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to look at the men in her family and how they are regarded. How do the women in her family regard the men? Because you next.
Whoa. Wait, we need to put that in the chat room because y'all need to really y'all really need to get the dude, man. That's right there is heavy. And I'm saying it because I'm looking at my own life. How are the men in her life regarded? Put that in the chat room. How are the men in her family regarded? They just cheaters. They ain't nothing but dogs. They can't do nothing right. They can't keep a job. He always cheating. He got a woman on the side. He don't wash dishes.
How are they regarded?
How are they regarded? Y'all need to really, I'm telling you, this would save you a bunch of time looking at videos. I got to find out what went wrong. If you just listen to what we just said right there.
How are they regarded?
How are the men in her family regarded? Wow, there you go, Fierce Soul. Bro, come on. Y'all really need, wow, there we go. Shout out to respect the game. Right. Because if they don't regard men, if the women in the family don't regard the men, Warren B, I'm put it on you, but I'm gonna take some of it too. You are next.
You are next.
Don't let you stand up.
Oh no. And then you'll know really when the fangs come out in her mama, in her grandmother, and in her aunties, and in her cousins, and in her best friends. Did he say fangs? Yes, fangs. When you try to buck the gynocracy, which is what I did in my relationship, they didn't like me. Them bros didn't like me. They didn't like pimping. No, they ain't like pimping. And I didn't allow drama to take place in my house. Then nobody tried to. Never. In my time with her, never did they try to. Because I ain't got no say. The quiet ones, you said I was quiet in elementary school.
You were,
it's the quiet motherfuckers. Excuse my Spanish. It's them quiet dudes that you really gotta. Then nobody tried me in my house, but they didn't like me because I didn't fit into the gynocracy. I didn't fit into it. You see what I'm saying? I brought my ideas. I brought my. Give you a quick example. I didn't work for the white man. So I always worked for myself. Entrepreneurial. And in Cleveland, it ain't the DMV where I'm at now. It's slim pickings in C-Town. I'm just being honest. And, you know, your hustle game got to be on fleek. You know what I'm saying? Because hell, even your hustle game about getting jobs got to be on fleek. Because a lot of companies today are firing, not hiring. Okay, so because you got to deal with the economy, and you have to be able to navigate. I wasn't gonna work for Zaddy. So I knew that I had a growing family. And my money does come in, but it comes in spurts. Because one thing I'm never, ever is lazy. Because in that relationship with my baby mama, I wrote this and 2 other books that's on Amazon.com. That's not somebody that's lazy, right? They call me PimpGod because of this book right here. This is the one that took off, right? But the gist of it is, since I wouldn't work for Zaddy, and she had Section 8. So we had just moved into a house, and I told her this. I said, I'm going to get somebody in here that keeps a regular job, because it's not going to be me. So that every Friday, they got to pay us, because I'm renting out that basement to them. Oh, no, I had plans, no, you didn't. We're renting out the basement. And that's what I did. Put that ad in Craigslist, had somebody in there probably that week. Okay. And it's 2 weeks to move in, and you pay every Friday. Okay. So I had African, white, you see what I'm saying? A Black American. I had, you know what I'm saying? But the point is, I came into the Gynocracy taking over. And whatever materials that I have available to me, as a crafter, I'm going to take them and I'm going to shape them into something. Oh, you got Section 8. Oh, word. Very good. So this is how we're going to do this. And I'm saying it's okay for a woman to make moves that, quote unquote, put her Section 8 on, a certain, shaky situation. But it's not okay if a man does so. Right? I'm looking at my family and I'm saying, we need money coming in every Friday because I ain't working for nobody. I'm not doing that. And you can't say I don't have income. Right? My baby mama went to a friend of mine and she complained to him about me. And he listened to her because he wasn't siding with me. And he listened, and she this, and it's that, and then this, and it's that. And the one part that she didn't hear herself say is that it always gets done. That's the part that she didn't hear. It was how it gets done that she wants to control. But he sat there and he listened to her. And he said, when she finished, he said, so what's the problem? And then he ran it back to her. Okay, you said this. Okay, but he fixed it. He got it done, didn't he? Okay, then it was this. But he got it done, didn't he? He ran, all he did was just roll it back to her.
Right.
Okay, tell me what time is due, what date, and what time, and I'll make sure that it's in the envelope. Right? Because that ain't my Zaddy. Right? And now I'm in the top percent of income earners in America. I'm in the top, 10, 13% of earners in America.
Right.
Okay, but I did it my way. Okay, this right here is not just a logo. I am incorporated. I bank with Navy Federal, and I couldn't bank with Navy Federal unless I had the proper paperwork. They don't play. I had to get a letter of good standing from Washington, D.C. in order to get an account there with Navy Federal.
That's right. I know.
See? So I'm just saying, it is what it is. But let's keep going. Assertiveness. Right? Black male assertiveness. Confidence. Masculine intelligence. Leadership energy, which is what I was just talking about. These things are a threat to the establishment. And our women want acceptance from the self-same establishment. So in a sense, it already puts her in a certain pickle, if you will, with respect to her man and respect to the establishment. What I'm saying is that when I walk into the place with my crown, you need to start paying attention to the energy of Black women with respect to your position of authority. That's why none of the females in the family really like me. And that they would never challenge me direct. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna check your ass.
Right.
So, but it's okay for Zaddy to fire you without reason. It's okay for him to have you working 3 days at this office and 2 days all the way over there on the west side at the other office, and not pay you for mileage or give you gas money or nothing like that. This is whatever he mandates. You know how to submit to that shit. But if I come in with a program that might not be how you want it to be, but I get it done, they're more concerned with the process. Because the process is supposed to be under their jurisdiction. And to the Gynocracy, I have one of these and one of these for you.
Camera frozen.
Is it?
Yes. There you go. There you go.
Are we back?
Yeah.
Okay. It might take some movement or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
frozen.
It froze again?
Yeah, it's good. So let me say something. You said something very important right there.
Okay.
One of the threats to the Gynocracy and to the modern day Black woman is a Black man who has leadership.
Yes.
Who can think for himself, who doesn't need her approval, who is firm in his masculinity. It's not a threat if she walks away. Those things that I laid out are the foundational stones of being a man that navigates when Black women chooses you to be their last choice. Your ability to walk away. You said something many videos ago. It still resonates. You said your ability to what? What was it? I think your ability to walk away is not an option to me. I will do it whether you like it or not. In so many words, I'm not do whether you agree with me or not. I'm not seeking your approval. And what happens is what triggers in a lot of men, particularly Black men, you become triggered inside when you have to oppose the opinion of your woman or your mother or your auntie. And so what happens is that chip, as they would say, goes off and you don't know what to do. Should I agree with her? Should I not? I may lose her. What if this happen? Everything begins to go, salutations, everything begins to go off inside of you. And the reality of it is the world, the God in you has been waiting for you to stand up.
Yes.
Say no to the things that they want you to say yes to. I did a conference years ago singles conference, and they split us between the men and the women. It's for a church. And I talked, and I said, one thing that you're going to have to do is your ability to say no to the woman will tell you a lot about where she is and where you are. And the men in the church is like, oh, you got to do what the woman say. I got to always. No. You're not able to stand up and say no when you know in your heart of hearts and you know in your masculine nature that you should say no. You're doing a disservice to her, but you're mainly doing a disservice to you. And I think a lot of men need to really stand up and stop kowtowing because you're afraid that you're gonna miss out on the kitty cat, or you're afraid that you ain't that your mother's gonna say something to you, or your aunties ain't gonna agree with you. Sometimes you're gonna have to be alone in this and say, no, this is where I'm at.
Yes. There's a chick that I dated in Cleveland, and she actually put you in the mind of Alicia Keys, but I think she was prettier than Alicia. But she was married, and her husband was, I guess he was a good worker, good provider, whatever. But there were times in their marriage where they fell behind in their rent. Okay, so this female had a brother who was really good at saving money. So if they ever fell into a bad situation, they would borrow money from him to pay the rent. Now, they always paid back, but this is out of her mouth. Listen to what she's saying. She said, I used to come up with, when we would fall behind in rent, different things that I wanted to buy other than doing the right thing with this money. When they borrowed it, she would find something to buy, a purse, a coat, or furniture, anything, jewelry. And she would tell her husband, oh, baby, I kind of want to get this, whatever. He would give in to her. You're already behind. Now she's using the money for something dumb. She told me this out of her mouth. She said, Warren, I didn't want those things. I never wanted it. I was only doing it to test him, to see what he bowed to me. And she said, every time that he bowed to me, she said, I lost more and more respect for him. She eventually ended up cheating on him. And then he forgave her. Took her back. Begged her, baby, do you love me though? Do you love me though? And she said, yeah, we can make it work. We can make it happen. So she dealt with him as long as she could. I think she cheated on him again. And then she just did him a favor and divorced him. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, women are just as dependent upon your ability to tell her no as you need to be able to say no in order for her to respect you. Let me say that again. They're just as dependent on your ability to say no as you should be, right, to say no and stick to your guns, because your respect is dependent upon your ability to stick to the program, do what needs to be done, and tell her no at times. What I'm saying is that sometimes the challenge that you're facing in your relationship is only a test. Sometimes the issue that's come up is not really a real issue. What she's testing is whether or not you're worthy of her submission. Just something to think about.
Ooh, ooh.
Yeah, there's something to think about. Okay, I'm reminded of the ballroom parties that we used to have after slavery, where our women would get dressed in their Sunday best. And the white man would come with the carriage, honky, honky, honky. That's where the word comes from. And they would come out and get in that carriage and ride with them to the soiree. And then they would just get cum dumped. This is history. And they would come back, cum stained, some of them pregnant. And what was the black man's role? To help raise that other man's kids. And what I'm saying is that we have been programmed for a long time to raise other men's kids, get no real true appreciation and respect for it. Step in, clean up her messes, and all of this kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? An employee of mine started needing money from me. And she would need it after I would pay her. So I would pay her. Well, I guess we know who that is. And then she would ask me for money after I would pay her for like a phone bill or something, right? And for the first 2 times that happened, I gave her the money for her phone bill right after I paid her. Okay. After the second time, I did what I'm teaching you to do. Because she had been with me for 4 years, I gave her a raise, a higher percentage on all the things she does for me. And I started out the conversation with the raise. I said, you have been with me for this long. I said, you know what? I appreciate what you're doing. I said, I'm giving you a raise, and I appreciate what you do. And I gave her the new percentages, and she said, thank you. And then I said, and by the way, don't ask me for money again. Run along now. And she never did. Times when I've done stuff for her after that, like calling her up and saying, go through your kitchen and make me a list of everything that you need, even in your bathroom. And I have it Instacarted directly to you. And I will pay it, because that's the kind of person that I am. But if I give, it's going to be on my terms, not yours. And she never did. She stuck to it. She never asked me for money again, because it was so slick the way I did it. Because I started out giving her praise for her work and her consistency. Then I gave her a raise. And then I said, and by the way, don't ask me for money. I don't have it. I do have it, but I don't have it. Because
Right.
Boundaries are things that men set for themselves, not for other people. You set boundaries for yourself, which means everywhere you go, they go. And it doesn't matter who you're dealing with, because they're going to come face to face with those boundaries, because those are for me. They're not for you, right? The other person could change faces. They could change races. But my boundaries are going, and that's important for me, and to establish boundaries in life. Okay.
So so he said something I want to make sure I emphasize that you guys really get this. Black man navigating being the black woman's last choice. It's that
Yes.
we gave some keys. I want you to make sure you understand what we're talking about, that you comprehend. You set boundaries for yourself. And I
For
realize a
yourself.
lot of men have not been taught to set boundaries for yourself because you were the workhorse in your
Yeah.
family, with
Yeah.
your mother, with your siblings, and with everyone else. And for you to say no, oh, you dare not do that. You need not do that. Why?
Right.
Because you're not valued. And so you have to teach people to value your time. One thing I don't play with is my time. My son said, if I was to pull him on the phone right now, don't play with his time. You don't play with my time, and you do not play with my money.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to, and it's some other things I have offset too, that you have
Yeah.
to teach people about your boundaries, especially as, let me say this, I'm speaking directly to you black men.
Yeah.
And we have a tendency to get along just to get along. And what happens is at the end of your life, I had a coworker that passed away this week.
Yeah.
He kept saying yes to everything, and he was supposed to be off. He came into work on Saturday, never came back again because he did not know how to say, let me take care of myself.
Right.
Strong black man, willing to work. He was a joy to be around, but he didn't set boundaries for his own self to take care of himself. He didn't take mental or the physical time to get himself together. Are you
Right.
caught like that, black man? That you don't know how to take time away to get yourself together? I was talking to someone today. Said LDA, don't forget to go get a massage. I said, you know what, black woman? Yeah, I'm on it.
Absolutely.
So I had to emphasize.
No. Yes. In this hand is the word no. And in this hand is the word man. And you can't be a man without the ability to say no. Just play with that. Okay. It is what it is. Now think about this concept. Let's say tomorrow, all of the black men in America disappear. And America, continuing on the economic turn that it's on, continues to go down. And the black woman finds out, because she'll still be here. Because none of us are here. There's none of us here to complain about we deadbeats, oh my God, oh my goodness. Even though 64% of us are middle class, upper middle class or rich, 64%. If I own 60% of Coca-Cola or Walmart, 64% of us are in the middle class or rich. Okay. If we weren't here for you to complain about, and America continued on this downward spiral, and if any jobs are left, it's going to go to the white man and to the immigrants. And they relegate or delegate the street corner to the black woman. Because she's going to have to find out the hard way. They don't give a fuck about you. For real, for real. But, okay, if we were removed and the true predicament that America is in, our dollar, the economy, everything, and stop blaming it on a president, an ex-president or somebody. Please stop doing that. It is prophesied that this country would go through what it's going through. It's prophecy. Stop it. That's why you're not voting for Trump. I'm just kidding. But the gist of it is this. I know that piss off a lot of people. But if our women were delegated to the street corner, with the way that they think now, a lot of them will have more respect. Listen to what I'm saying. For white and Mexican tricks than they will for a black man as her husband. With the way that she thinks now, she'll have more respect for the tricks that buy her than you as a husband that's willing to die and provide and give protection and covering for her. That's where a lot of them are mentally. So just know the consciousness of what we're dealing with here in terms of being not her first choice. Right? She'll respect that white or Mexican trick more than she'll respect your ring. Okay. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's Jared is interesting because when you look at the historical side of it,
Yeah.
she was never taught to respect you. She was always taught to respect the white man who was over her.
Yes.
A master. And so in turn, she has taught her children, and particularly her daughter, to do the same. And to always disregard the black man and come with this argument that you didn't come and save us. How can I save you when I'm getting beat down I'm getting beat down myself? Yeah. So the other side of it is if we were to disappear, the chaos that will be in America, because whether they want to admit it or not,
exactly,
we are the thin line that's really holding the black community together while they say they're leading it.
Yes.
I promise you, I see the political side of it. I see the historical side of it. And I'm looking at the social economic side of it.
Yeah.
We are the ones, the foundation men, are foundational men right now, black men.
That's right.
Ones holding it in place right now.
Yeah.
If we were to disappear, you thought Babylon was something. You thought Sodom and Gomorrah was something. You ain't seen nothing.
You ain't seen nothing.
They ain't seen nothing. So the thing about the black man, I mean, the black woman and looking to the white man as tricks, bro, ain't no other way to say this. She's already been doing that.
Yes.
She's been doing that at the disposal of us as black men.
Yeah.
And many times throwing it in our face. And I'm not, listen, I want everybody to know I ain't mad at you. I'm like Tupac, and I don't even like Tupac that well. But I'll say this, I'm not mad at you. Right. Do what you have to do.
Do you?
But that doesn't mean that I have to choose you while you're doing what you have to do.
Right.
I don't have to do that. You said earlier. Say that again.
No, I was saying we don't choose to be your last choice.
No.
That's why we're having this nice little talk. Because we don't choose to be.
No.
Okay.
When this is a mental problem, and I want these guys to really get this.
Go ahead.
If you are choosing someone that look at you as your last choice, you need to get some help. Why would you go and get the last? You chose it to get the last of something, while everybody's getting the cream of it, and you getting the dirt of it. Something is wrong.
Yes.
Why are you mentally don't have the esteem in yourself or have the right image of yourself that you need to have the best of the best? Yes. You need to live the best. You need to have the best. And why would you choose a woman who looks at you as her last Ellen choice out of everyone else? That doesn't make sense.
No. Okay. And that's my last point, actually. Black men need to stop being okay with being a female's last choice. If you ain't her first choice, then you don't want her. And the only way to truly know if you're her first choice is to go back to something that I said earlier. Stop imagining them. Because hoes play on men's imagination. But if you're observing her, then her game can't work. If I see it for what it is. You see what I'm saying? So just understand that. Open your options up to women outside of the US. Women that were cultivated and cultured to submit to you. So it ain't even that hard. In the masculine principle, we have an archetype called the hunter. And the hunter can go on excursions. The hunter can go abroad and conquer. You can go to wherever you want and find a queen, right? I'm not worried about colorism like a lot of our women are, right? I'm interested in you being treated like that crown deserves to be on your head. Okay? You need to be with women that respect that crown, right? And if that crown falls off, you need to be with a woman that picks it up and puts it back on your head because she knows that's your rightful place. There are countries where they're dirt poor, but if they're a couple, they still respect that man as if he was Barack Obama. Okay? And a lot of white women actually didn't like Michelle Obama as a first lady because there was a lot of that gynocratic element in her, even with Barack. One of her first comments, this is not a shade against, Michelle, but one of her first comments that was said when he actually won, she said something I would never hear from a white woman. Never. She said, he actually pulled it off. We would never hear that from, was it Nancy Reagan or whoever? We wouldn't hear it from any a president's wife. You wouldn't hear that. You know what I'm saying? He actually pulled it off. Really? You see what I'm saying? It's the underlying sentiment that's there. And that's what we're talking about, right? Don't deal with any women that have that. The underlying low-level contempt that Kevin Samuels talked about every night. Don't deal with any women that have that for you. Don't deal with any women that use sign language, shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. You don't want a woman that tries to shame you when you get too big for your britches. You see what I'm saying? So use insults, okay? There was an audiobook I did recently in which, or it was a video, in which I talked about a woman's intuitive nature. Women have intuition naturally. But that gift can be used to build you up or tear you down. Sometimes a woman's intuitive nature can be used to chip away at your ego, like ice, making little comments, put shots, this and that, little stuff that she says to try to break you down. She's paying attention. She's using her intuitive nature but she's using it against you. Whereas the right woman will use her intuitive nature to fill in the gaps. Okay, I had a girlfriend, the same one I'm talking about, the pretty one back in the day. When she would be over at my spot and she would go shopping, she would come back with all of these bags. And I would be like, what is all of this stuff? And all of that stuff was replacing stuff that I was low on and wasn't really paying attention to before I ran out. Huh? Intuition, that intuitive nature, it can be used to either give you fulfillment or it can be used to chip at you.
It's just you hit it. I'm gonna say something. You said something that got me. This is interesting. I remember years ago, one of my tests is, you know, if a girl spend the night, whatever the case may be, I wake up in the morning, she's going to make my bed.
Yes.
I want to see, if I get up, because I normally get up, I'm on a run. I want to see she's going to get up and make my bed. If she does not, I'm already dropped down a couple notches. Because I'm looking long term, not just the short term pleasure that was there. I'm looking, how are you going to handle after the pleasure is gone?
Yes.
And I looked at this one young lady years ago that came over. She came over, she was in a certain situation, blah, 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 whatever case. I don't want to get too deep in it. But she came over and began to take care of my dishes always washed, but this time I didn't have my dishes washed. She getting to put things in order. You need a new candle, you need to do this. She automatically began to what? That's the situation. How can I be an asset to LDA and not a liability because of the situation that I'm in?
Yes.
Y'all need to look at that. I'm giving you, we just shared, just with the bed, just with the woman looking at what was not there for PimpGod, and she did it on her own. There are telltale signs that tell you who you're dealing with. Y'all need to pay attention to that.
She took care of me so good. But then again, I'm used to being kind of kept by women, but that's a whole nother subject matter. But my father even had to comment on it. My father said, he said, she took care of you. She took real good care of you. Because she just, you know what I'm saying? And bless her heart. But the gist of it is, there was one time where she tried to use her intuition to chip at me like she did her husband. She told me that when she was married, she used to talk about her husband like a dog and just chip away at his ego. And he didn't know how to battle with the way that she would be talking to him. And when he would be just like a puddle of just no confidence after she finished with him, she told me this. Listen, she said, I will go in the bathroom and just cry. It made her sad that she was able to break him down like that. Mm. So one day, she was with the P Jizzle, bless her heart. We was on the phone, and there's a rapper named, what is his name?
Tell me the song.
E40. And he had this way of talking. He got this unique, it's almost like he got his own vocabulary. You know what I'm saying? In the way that he talks. And so there was a song that came out, and the way that he was talking on this one song, he would be like, regardless. Yeah, regardless. You know, he would say regardless, but in this kind of interesting way. So I was talking to her and I said, yeah, I said, regardless. I said, regardless. So then she said she got quiet. And then she tried to do one of those things that she used to do to her husband. She got really quiet. And then she said, "You sound stupid." And then I said, "Yeah, but regardless. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying regardless, like regardless of what you're saying, regardless. You know what I'm saying we're gonna do this or we not. I'm saying, but regardless." I said it like 10, 12 times. And then she just started laughing because she was basically saying, "Okay, this is not gonna work with this dude. I'm gonna turn up. I'm gonna go berserk with it. Because I'm God. I'm gonna go berserk with that shit." And a woman can tell it's something extra with this dude. Yeah, and I wasn't even mad. I was saying it because my ego is too big. It's as big as Antarctica, right? So she just left it alone. She said, "Okay." She said she just started laughing and she just left it alone because what they do with their intuition is they'll try a little something. "You sound stupid." And then see how you handle it. And then she's going to observe you to see if it had an effect. And then she's going to take the dial and then she's going to turn it up a little bit. And then she's going to do a little bit more and see how, you see what I'm saying? And she's going to be using her intuition to come at you. You see what I'm saying? And so there was a video that I put out recently where I said, never lose your edge. The type of mindset and the type of energy that you need that always makes you optimal in your masculinity and your energy, your attractiveness, whether you're married, whether you got a girlfriend, or whether you got 4 of them, or whether you got none at the time. Never lose your edge. Never. Because what a lot of married women do is over time, they chip away at a man's confidence, right? And they try to make your blade dull over time. And what I'm saying to men is always keep it sharp, absolutely sharp. And always never lose your edge. Your ability to be that optimal dude when you walk in the room, it ain't just Black women that notice you, it's white women, it's Mexican women, it's Spanish women. I was in the IHOP this morning, and there was a whole family sitting next to me. It's 3 females, maybe a kid or 2, and then a dude. Now, I don't know what the breakdown was, but I got the rollie on. I'm sitting there chilling, you know what I'm saying? And this particular one I go to, every time I come in there, the waitresses ask me to show them my gold. Because I literally walk around with a 1-ounce gold coin on. A pure gold coin, not jewelry. Talking about what rich people invest in. I got one I just carry with me everywhere. I don't have one. I have one that I carry with me every day, right? Just for the energy. Because remember, our money used to be backed by this stuff. So it's kind of important. But anyway, so they always ask me, so I take it out and I put it in her hand. So I put it in the one chick's hand that was serving me. She was Ethiopian. So she took the coin to the table of the people in front of me. It was a man and his little daughter. And she showed them this coin and put it in their hand. And then he felt the weight of it. He said, "Oh, wow, this is heavy." You know what I'm saying? And this and that. And then I told him how much it costs. I think right now it's close to 2,600 per coin for one ounce.
Right.
And so he was asking me, he said, "Wow, you know, this and that." And even the daughter was impressed. I wasn't trying to impress them. I came in, they just asked to show it to me because I showed it to them once, just sitting in there, just chopping it up. And but they always remember me by that. You see what I'm saying? But my point is, Pay attention to how people regard you. When you come in with that crown, when you come in with that energy, how do they regard you? Because a lot of our women, when they see a pimp god, because a pimp god is not one person, it's anybody that comes to the best version of themselves. That's what that represents. But when they see a pimp god, a lot of them are trained to do this. They study the upholstery. They study the you know, anything, the paintings on the wall. They'll study because your energy to them represents that you're an imposter. And so you have celebrity vibes, but they don't recognize you. And since you're not a celebrity that white people have stamped as okay, and they don't know who you are, you shouldn't be walking around with that kind of energy. You shouldn't feel that way about yourself. So you're an imposter, your presence. And so what our women do is try to pretend like they don't see. The key to you as a man is I'm not doing it for you anyway. I'm doing it for me. The way that I live, the things that I do, is for myself. Like I said earlier, and I'm going to end with this. I'm walking in this direction. You can walk with me or you can stay, but I'm walking. And that's how I want to leave it.
Wow. Thank you so much. This was an amazing teaching today. We shared so much. I want to thank my special guest since elementary school, actually.
Yes, sir.
Thank him for coming up and dropping up because he don't go live. You
No,
don't see him, I'm peeping the game. I appreciate him coming up and sharing today. If you got something from this, you need to do two things. You need to put a one in the chat room, and you need to hit his Cash App, and you need to hit my Cash App. Y'all need to put some respect on what we shared today. Because what happens is, if you go back and digest what we just said and go back and listen to this, you realize that we just taught you, we were like the three wise men or the two wise men.
Yeah.
We led you to your Messiah and you didn't even know it. And the Messiah was laying right inside of you, and you going around looking for around everywhere else. We were the ones pointing to the stars right now.
Yes.
We were the one pointing to the stars today. You just didn't recognize
right.
it. And we're leading you where you need to be at. If you enjoyed this, put a one in the chat room. Make sure you definitely hit the Cash App of PimpGod. Is $ PimpGod1 on Cash App. You can hit me and Lawrence D. Adams on Cash App. Thank you for the super chats. PimpGod, you have anything else you want to say as far as what broadcast, anything that you're going to be doing coming up?
Well, I guess it's timing, but I happened to hear from my girl China White. So she's trying to link up, so it might be something coming up soon. But besides y'all two, I don't really do a whole lot of lives. You know, y'all the main two, you know what I'm saying, that I do. And you know, sometimes I might do maybe one other person or something like that. But I have done them and been paid to do them as well.
Yeah.
I've been paid to do lives too, because I don't do them often.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but yeah, so that might be coming up soon. And also check out my latest audiobook with my girl from Cleveland, Seatown, Monty Ray. Okay. It's a friend of mine from out of Cleveland. We just completed an audiobook called The Corporate Faculty.
Mm-hmm.
The Corporate Faculty. And it's talking about Monty's experience 20 years in corporate America. And she's actually spilling the beans about what Black women are really experiencing in corporate America while they wagging their finger to us that they got it going on and they make 100,000 and they got this. She's spilling the beans about how they really treat your ass and how you're really seen in corporate America. And so I patterned it after the movie The Faculty with Usher.
Mhm.
Where all of the faculty started turning into like these zombie type aliens, and they were, like killing and feeding on the humans and turning them. So I call it the corporate faculty. That in a lot of ways, right, our women are entering into this soulless environment. And the effects that it's having on them. She's actually spilling the beans about what's really going on back in the corporate offices and whatnot.
That's awesome. Because I work in corporate America, and I work on several committees for a particular place that I can't say on here because of I have to protect myself.
Right.
If you only understood what happens behind the scenes to per se Black women in corporate America, you will be astonished and you'll be appalled.
Yes.
How they're, like you said, how they're treated and how they're done. It is. I just say this. I just remember a particular meeting, and we had to call in the troops because of how they did this particular Black woman. I haven't even talked about the Black man, how they did this particular Black woman.
Yeah.
It was disheartening, and it was really bad, and it was all in the name of the corporation.
Yeah.
We had to do what we had to do.
Yeah.
So definitely, I want to make sure I give out the super chats that did come through. Let me go back and honor those. So shout out to Jonathan W for the $5. Appreciate you. To Joe Blast, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for James Reed for the super chat. Tony France, thank you for the super chat. And thank you, True Challenge Proof. Thank you so much, guys, for the super chats. Thank you for participating in this. This has been an awesome teaching. I know you didn't get to everything that was on there, but this is for you to jolt you, to get you to understand who you're dealing with, for you to really recognize it's time for you as a Black man, and especially as a man, because I got men who are multiple races here, to realize that you're a culture that's really against you. Almost like a preacher.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, thank you so much. Stay on the line as we end this. Don't hang up. We'll talk. I gotta end the show, and then we'll talk afterwards. So let me do this. So shout out to PimpGod for coming through. This was a great time. If you like this, share it, get it to everybody's hands, and we want to thank you. The next live, I don't know when it is, but you want to definitely. I'm going to put a click here for a free checklist about finding your tribe, because it's very important that you find your tribe. I'm going to put it in the chat room. I'm going to put that link right there, and we're going to do a behind the scene conference call, and it will be for pay. Just have to tell you, I do a disservice to you if I don't charge you. I'm going to tell you like this.
That's right.
I'm going to keep it 100. I do a disservice to you. I got my butt kicked this week about that. I do a disservice to you if I don't charge you. So this conference call, so you want to get the free checklist, be a part of the list. But when I do the conference call or do the webinar on this, there will be a charge. I'm being honest with you. You can't win. You cannot go to college for free and think you're going to learn something if you don't pay for it. So with that being said, this is Lawrence Yam. This is the song to go out, and we are out of here. Peace. We're still live, so man, Warren, this is good. I don't know if they was ready for what we was talking about. You shared.
What you think?
Oh, it was good. We still live, so we just talk behind the scenes. They think they're hearing stuff, but it was good.
Okay, that's what's up. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you got to replay this one back.
Yeah,
same.
man. I'm gonna probably take a piece of it as always and put it on my channel.
Do what you got to do. Cut it up. Cut it up.
Yeah, chop it up.
You know where we from.
Yeah, for
You know.
sure.
All right. With this being said, we.